If what I'm doing is truly wrong, you can take me at my word and show that it's wrong. You don't have to take me out of context. But anybody's gonna get offended when you call out their shit. So just because he called out their shit and they respond and said, I did not appreciate you calling out my shit, doesn't mean that the shit is illegitimate. You need to present more context. They're looking at his behavior and putting his behavior on blast. Everybody does it. That's what you're supposed to do. If you think that someone has toxic behavior, you should be talking about it. If your criticisms are wrong, then people should point out why you're wrong and you need to fix your perspective. But that does not mean that you should no longer talk about controversial issues. He's like, he discovered he can use their names. Yes, that's what pretty much everyone does on YouTube these days. And you used his name in your title and called him a pretend therapist. You don't think that that's clickbait? Pretending he's eating a sandwich or a burger or whatever the fuck is in her hands, and it's just like, well, what, you know, how are you going to say this about me? How are you going to say I abused the women I've dated? And I locked them in a basement. Because you did. That's why I said it. What is his response to this? He just picked him apart perfectly. This is exactly who Primink is, okay? He does believe exactly what this said, and if you don't understand it, please reread it.
I learned a lot more about you from this post. That's too bad, man.
So he focuses on saying man, and then he's like, you're manipulating me, you're manipulating me. You're gonna see it in the rest of this video. He just says you're manipulating me, and he just moves on to the next thing. He does not address any of the other stuff, because that's exactly who he is, and he doesn't want you to call him out on it. Oh, you say you're a piece of shit, but you're actually a really decent person. That's how they're gonna look at it, because you primed them. So maybe you're reading manipulation books, because you've shown examples of priming throughout this video. You didn't show me any fucking examples of half the shit you accused him of. You didn't play any clips. You didn't show anything. I fucking paused and said, listen to this. There's no context here. That's manipulation. That's me showing context. You did not do that. This is clearly a very complicated issue. You're not presenting all of the evidence. You're just presenting the ones that make your argument look good. So you're slimy for that, and fuck you again.
I took 3 classes of psychology, so schooling-wise, I'm more qualified to diagnose mental health than Chris is.
You don't know what classes he took, though. And you taking classes doesn't mean that you're more qualified. He could actually know more than you fucking moron. You don't understand how psychology works. Okay, but like, what's in the video? Like, what? Why are you zooming in on a thumbnail? Tell me what's wrong with that video. Like, what actually happened in the video that you're saying is gossip?
Harassing someone is the opposite of promoting mental well-being. And shockingly, well, is that I don't know if it's shockingly.
What is harassment, though, if you make some videos on someone's personal life? This is the shit that pisses me off. You're doing the same fucking thing, and his dumbass won't think it's the same. It is the exact same. You're making baseless accusations, and you're priming your audience to believe something that isn't fucking true. It's not objective. It's not realistic. You're painting this video in black and white when it's not. There are so many nuances in this video that you are not focusing on. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So you can't tell somebody else to shut the fuck up because they don't know what they're talking about when you don't. And your dumbass even said, I've actually taken some psychological classes. And you don't see how fucking retarded you're being talking about manipulation books. You took psychological classes and you say something that's stupid. So yeah, you're the last person to talk about somebody talking about psychology when you're doing the same fucking thing. People are so ashamed to comment on drama, and it honestly pisses me off that people even call controversy drama in this way. Because they're like, oh, the drama. As if people's personal problems are not a serious thing. It's just like a nuisance in the world. I swear to God, I hate people.
I'm toxic. I don't pretend to like people.
And I told you, oh my God, I fucking told you he was gonna do it. So he's projecting his own tactics onto this guy, and it's really fucked up. So he's like, well, I know if I were to say man, I'd be manipulating somebody. I know that if I were to, you know, put these faces in my thumbnail, it's because I'm trying to do a drama video. I know when I use their names in my title, I'm trying to get money and do a drama video. I know this. I know that I'd like to be able to avoid criticism by just claiming mental health, because remember what he did earlier? I'm depressed, I have depression. I need the depressed videos more than anyone. That's just priming. Again, it's priming. He's priming everyone to think that all his videos are drama. He's priming everyone to think that he's a pretend therapist when he's never said that he was. And if he did, show the clip. You know, he's priming people to believe that he's read books on manipulation. That's a baseless accusation. I'm pretty sure he did. Didn't you just fucking sit there and say, oh, how are you going to say that this guy's a drug addict just because he went to some parties? Oh, so if you go to parties, you're doing drugs. But now you're saying if you say, man, you're a manipulator, you read manipulation books. You're doing the same fucking thing and he doesn't even realize it. Your issue should be about people's analysis of the human psyche in general and not just specifically him, because again, this problem is bigger than him. But you're not going to make that fucking video because you don't give a fuck about any of that stuff. You just want to talk shit about people you don't agree with. Hey everyone, so I was looking at a bunch of videos on YouTube because one of my friends, we look at videos quite often and send them to each other and ask what our opinions are on them or the people in them. Those videos sometimes will give me like inspiration for a video. So this is one of those many cases where we were sharing videos back and forth and then I stumbled across this and like the related thing. So this person's channel I think is called like Primink or something. It's gonna be in the description if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Oh well. This person was doing a video on another channel called the Rewired Soul. I think a few people have talked about him now, but I just want to focus on this video. So if like other people have made other arguments, that's separate from this person's mentality. So this video is for the most part about speculation, drama, and psychology. I guess the only intro that I'll give is just that he is talking about how, you know, the video is titled, YouTube's pretend therapist is concerning. So he's saying the Rewired Soul is a pretend therapist and that he's concerning because he basically says he's a drama channel. Now, the thing about being a therapist is that if you're a therapist, it by definition means that you are skilled in a particular type of psychology. That's all that it means. So just keep in mind that they're very different from psychologists. They're very different from doctors. They're very different from psychiatrists. You know, your psychiatrist, your doctor, they can actually prescribe you medicine. They can actually give you a legitimate diagnosis. Even your psychologist can give you a legitimate diagnosis. People tend to not take legitimate diagnosis from even therapists. But the sad thing is that doctors, therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists can all have faulty practices, and quite often they do. So just keep those things in mind, and I'm just gonna skip through this video and play certain parts, so I'll just start here and we can get into it.
On the surface, the Rewired Soul, or Chris, seems to be a good channel doing some great things for the community and mental health awareness, and he's got a good chunk of supporters. But the more I saw of Chris, the more I started to see a lot of problems and questionable things rise up, and I'm starting to question if he's really a mental health activist or just some guy trying to make a quick buck.
I don't care about the children! I just care about their parents' money!
Yes!
I know that this is like random, but it's just a pet peeve of mine at this point to, like, everybody has the same comedy on YouTube. They like make a statement and then show a clip from some show. Make a statement, show another clip, and that's apparently like comedy. It's just getting old. I don't know why it's the trend. Like, I guess it's because it's easy to just do that, but I see it everywhere. Like, everybody's videos just keep playing clips of Simpson, Arthur, SpongeBob, and, you know, anything on Comedy Central. So, yeah, I just, fuck that.
I started to see Chris's videos in my recommended feed early last year, and the first videos I watched, I really liked him. How he makes his videos is he pulls a topic or problem from the YouTuber community, and he puts a psychologist spin on it to teach his viewers a lesson, whether it be dealing with an enabler, or how to get out of depression, or the reasons why Taco Bell is the key to happiness. Alright, I admit, I made the last one up, but you get the point.
You get it because he's fat. Again, the comedy, I just don't understand why this is the level of, this is the standard of comedy on YouTube.
Makes videos surrounding psychology and how to help people with their problems.
And welcome back to another video where we are diving deep into depression, and today I'm talking about what's depression like.
Like I said, I really liked him, but the more and more videos I saw, I started to notice that his channel isn't really about mental health or being an advocate for it, and it's more about gossip and drama in the YouTuber community. I first noticed this when he made a video about it for it, and it's more
the problem with Angelica's commentary. Okay, but like, what's in the video? Like, why are you zooming in on a thumbnail? Tell me what's wrong with that video. Like, what actually happened in the video that you're saying is gossip? You can't just show a thumbnail and say, look, there's a YouTuber's face and his face. It's gossip. Because just a second ago, you yourself said that you liked his channel because
I really liked him. How he makes his videos is he pulls a topic or problem from the YouTuber community and he puts a psychologist spin on it to teach his viewers a lesson.
Okay, so since you just said that yourself seconds ago, it would make perfect sense for the thumbnail for these type of videos to be a YouTuber and his face. That's a given. If you're going to pull from YouTubers and then do a video about them and try to tie it in with psychology, you're going to use the YouTuber's face. So going back to my other question, so then why would you go from that to zooming in on a thumbnail that looks the way it should look for those type of videos?
And it's more about gossip and drama in the YouTuber community. I first noticed this when he made a video about Bobby Burns. Bobby Burns was a guy that was in one of
I just don't understand why he zoomed in on the other thumbnail if he's about to talk about a completely different video. But that's what I think just goes into the whole idea of like priming. You know, it's like, ooh, look, this looks like a drama video, so it's going to prime you to think he's a drama channel. That's pretty much it. And now he's going to show this clip.
Shane Dawson's series, but after the series was over, he had some problems going on with him trying to find his identity. He started doing a lot of weird stuff. It's a long story. Anyways, Chris ended up making a video called Stop Enabling Bobby Burns.
Most recently, he posted a picture of him like kind of bruised up, and he said that he got into a car accident. Now, it says, hey, and this is what I would say, hey, I'm glad you're alive, but you need to straighten up. One of the things that Bobby mentioned in his video was that he was sober, and I call bull on that. I call so much bull. Like, are you serious? And the fact that people are going to pretend like he was. Okay, so, and let's not forget his Instagram story showing us what happened before his accident.
In the video, he straight up implies that Bobby got in a car accident because he was on drugs and or alcohol without any proof.
Okay, so I paused here to go and look at the actual video because he's, you know, jump cutting through this, and because I didn't have the opportunity to hear all of the criticisms that the Rewired Soul gave, so I wanted to see it for myself, but I'm assuming he deleted it or privatized it because I can't find that video. And this guy, as far as I know, I didn't see him mention that he got rid of the video. So it's either I'm just having a hard time finding it or he did delete it. So yeah, I can't speak much on this. But I will say at the very least, even if he did make that assumption on this guy, that's an incorrect assumption, yes. When it comes to psychological professionals, for example, they'll give you the wrong diagnosis. They make assumptions about your character and they're wrong about it. That's something that people do in general. So I can understand if you're going to say, yes, he needs to think through what he says more because you're calling someone an addict with no proof of that. And that's a big claim just because they went to a party. But that doesn't mean that everything that he posts is illegitimate. And it would make sense that of all the topics for him to make this false claim on, it would be addiction because that's something that affects him personally, which is when people tend to be the most biased, when it's something that personally affects them. So the fact that you're taking something that personally affects him and then saying, yeah, like you don't know what you're talking about with anything, it's just a black and white statement. And you're going to see a lot of that in this video, just trying to make this a black and white issue, and pretty much nothing is black and white in this world.
Because before the accident, he posted some pictures of himself at a party. So lesson of the day, if you're at a party, you have to be drunk or on drugs apparently. If you go to Lil Timmy's 10th birthday party, you better come out wasted or it's not a party. This and a few other videos is when my opinions of the Rewired Soul started to shift and my overall view of him became sour, because for me his videos went from actually discussing about mental health problems and solutions and it became more about spreading gossip and tea.
One other thing is he's not saying what his opinion really was about him, though. Like, I hate it when people do that. There's like, I actually appreciate this person because they made innocent, humble videos and now they're not anymore. It's like, okay, but what were they talking about? Like, that's your only opinion? I left a comment on his video. I'll get to that later. But, like, I even said myself, I don't agree with this guy, the Rewired Soul, because he's too optimistic for me. And anybody who knows me knows that I am extremely against optimism. I think it's the dumbest fucking thing that we've ever done as a race of human beings, and it's killing this planet to be optimistic. So the fact that he is optimistic is a big problem. Most psychologists are optimistic. Most psychologists, for example, like again, talking about psychologists, therapists, all that, some of them put their religion into it. They don't have an answer for your problem, so they tell you to have faith. I've seen psychologists and they tell me this shit. I just wanted to bring that up here. So yeah, like, they don't know the fuck they're talking about. Most psychologists are optimistic. Most people are optimistic. So it really pisses me off that you're looking at someone who makes the same errors that certified professionals make and saying that's why they shouldn't comment on it. But it's a bigger problem than that, because certified professionals do the same thing that he does. They do the exact same thing. So now what are you going to say? Your issue should be about people's analysis of the human psyche in general and not just specifically him, because again, this problem is bigger than him. But you're not going to make that fucking video because you don't give a fuck about any of that stuff. You just want to talk shit about people you don't agree with. Like every other fucking drama channel on YouTube. People don't actually discuss the bigger issues or try to understand why is this a problem. They're just like, look at this person. This person's fucked up. Moving on. Oh, and by the way, I'm an asshole too, just so you know. So it kind of defeats the purpose of me talking about anyone being an asshole, because I've labeled myself an asshole, so you can't call me one. No, you're an asshole. You can all go fuck yourselves together for all I care. All of you are fucked up. You're all in the same fucking boat, slitting each other's throats and diving over the edge.
Chris has discovered that using popular YouTubers' names in his video titles gets him more views. So because of this, he started to create almost fake drama using YouTubers' names.
Okay, so first of all, he's like, he discovered he can use their names. Yes, that's what pretty much everyone does on YouTube these days, and you used his name in your title and called him a pretend therapist. You don't think that that's clickbait? Because I haven't seen him call himself a therapist. So you're saying pretend therapist when he's not pretending to be a therapist. He's just talking about psychology, and then you put his name in your title. So aren't you doing the same fucking thing as him? It's the same tactic, but you say he's doing it for money and you're not. So it's just so stupid. And in the grand scheme of things, if you make YouTube videos and they're not private, you want them to get views. End of story. You want your videos to get views. If you say, no, no, I mean, if I did get views, that would be nice, you're lying, you know? Now, it's one thing if you don't believe you'll ever get views, so you're like, oh, I really do appreciate whenever I get them or something. But if you just act like you were putting people's names in the titles and you weren't expecting for that to help you get views, come on. So, yeah, like, you're doing the same fucking thing, but on top of that, I watched this video. I went over to this one because, again, I don't like watching people's analysis on another person and they just cherry pick the stuff they want to and argue against it, and they don't show all the context. So that's why I did try to look at the Bobby Byrne video, but I couldn't find it. But with this one, with Lily Singh, he just said that he's creating drama. But I watched the video, and I watched the whole thing, and the only two things that he mentioned was that she said she wanted to take a mental health break. And he's like, okay, but what did you do with your mental health? And he was making a legitimate criticism saying, if you're going to claim that you're going to take a mental health break, then you should come back and like talk about what happened to some degree. But from what he could find, it seemed like she just left to go do a bunch of collabs, because then she had like the 12 days of collabs or some shit on her channel, and clearly she didn't do all that overnight, so it was during the break. So he's like, okay, but did you actually do anything to help with your mental health? Like, and so he was saying that, like, his question was basically, is this really a mental health break? And he was talking about how people overuse words. They say they're depressed when they're actually sad. They say that they're having mental health issues when they're actually just tired of like producing video after video after video. So, and then he specified multiple times, he's saying that he's not saying that she's using mental health as a trend, but it's still a question. He's allowed to ask a question without saying that's what she's doing. And he said because in the YouTube Rewind, they were capitalizing off of mental health. And we all know that. That's why everyone hated the YouTube Rewind video. And then he explained that, it could be possible. He's like, I'm not saying she is, but I'm just wondering, what did you do with your mental health break? Because it just seems like you're just saying it's a mental health break when it's not. That's a fine, like, that's fine. That's not creating drama. What's the drama? Lily Singh claims that she has mental health problems when she doesn't. Like, and he wasn't even saying that. He wants answers. He's like, oh, I'm just curious. And he's saying, and he said over and over again, if you take a mental health break, then do something. Don't just sit on the sofa and watch Netflix, because he said that there's a lot of people who do that. They'll take a mental health break and then they just like sit down and just play some games, watch some TV, but they're not actually trying to fix their problems. All that stuff's legitimate. So to then just wash over that whole video and say he's just creating drama. Yes, the thumbnail seems like it's a drama thumbnail because most drama videos are in this style. You put a YouTuber's face in your face looking confused. Okay? But the actual video was not stirring up drama. And if you're so retarded that you look at a thumbnail and it puts a fire under your ass to start hating someone, you're out of your fucking mind. Anybody would click on the video and listen to what he had to say first, and there was nothing drama about it. Like, maybe I missed something? If so, please fucking show me. Because I watched the whole fucking thing, and that's all that he said. So for him to show this is just misleading, and he's doing a disservice to his subscriber base. And yes, his title says, I'm disappointed with Lily, but that doesn't mean that he's like, oh, she's a terrible person. He's just saying, I'm disappointed that you didn't use this break to its full advantage. That's what he said. So yes, it's a clickbait title, but the actual video wasn't that bad. So at one point he mentioned that she said a bunch of stuff on Twitter, but he didn't even get into it. If he did, maybe I missed it, but I didn't see him say anything about it. He pretty much focused on saying, I'm taking a break. And he's like, well, do something with your break. That's it. This video link. So he's posting another one saying, oh, look, it's a drama video. Now, this one I didn't watch all the way through, but I watched the vast majority of it because I was starting to get annoyed, like, with this guy. His overall point in this video, and even in the title, he says anxiety and avoidance behavior. That's what this video is about. Now, a lot of people hate Gabby, and for good reason, because she steals people's stuff, you know, their original ideas and all this other shit, and lies and blah, blah, blah. So there's a lot of videos on her. And the point of his video is that she had a clip from another video actually confessing that if she sees any video with her face in the thumbnail, she clicks, I don't want to watch it. She doesn't even want to see it. She doesn't want to know what it's about. Because people fucking hate her. And there's a lot of legitimate reasons for it. So he was making the point that saying that you don't want to see it doesn't make the problem go away. You have to address it, which is perfectly fine. And then he gave an example saying that, you know, if you have like not a lot of money in your account, there's a lot of people who don't want to check their bank statement. But if you overdraw the money, now you're going to have even less money. So you have to check it, even though you don't want to. Or like, I knew somebody who had bed bugs in their school, and like all the staff was like, oh, stop talking to me about it. I don't want to talk about it. And they were trying to come up with solutions to get rid of the bed bugs. But everybody's like, stop. I don't want to think about the fact they're in the classroom. And it's like, they're literally going to spread and infest everything if you don't take care of it right now. So you have to talk about it. So he's talking about that in the video. It even says it in the title. Anxiety and avoidance behavior. Being in denial. That's it. So these are two awful examples for stirring drama. Like, he's just saying if there is a problem, you have to address it. And I think that that's fine. And again, he's not just... Because the criticism this guy might give is, why not just talk about the behavior then? You said yourself that the point is to show YouTubers and actual scenarios where people do these things, and that's perfectly fine because people need to show scenarios of people doing something to address like a psychological issue. People need to see it. A lot of behavioral problems are visual, so you need visual examples. Or how 99% of communication is everything but the words we say. So if I just tell you the text of what someone says, you're going to be missing 99% of the context. So I have to show the video clip. So it's just, this is so stupid.
So because of this, he started to create almost fake drama using YouTubers' names.
Fake.
And he creates somewhat of a false narrative with these people. A lot of the times he makes the drama...
A false narrative? Like, how? Show the clip.
Out of thin air. Like, there's no basis at all.
Show the clip.
Trisha Paytas is bad for Jason's kids.
So now he goes over to the Trisha Paytas thing. He showed the other two clips, which is, again, just priming people into believing that all his videos are drama. Again, this is black and white. He is a drama channel, and he's just a fake therapist, doesn't have any legitimate criticism on psychology. He just fell off the wagon. He used to do legitimate videos. Now he does none. That's not the case at all. You are taking him out of context, and I don't even agree with this fucking guy. But the fact that you're conducting your video in this way is so disgusting, because this is the shit that I hate about people. Like, I say all the time... Maybe I haven't said it on this channel yet, but I say it all the time in real life, and you're going to hear me say it a lot more. If what I'm doing is truly wrong, you can take me at my word and show that it's wrong. You don't have to take me out of context. If you have to take what I'm saying out of context, and if you especially have to wildly exaggerate what I'm saying and what I'm doing to show how fucked up I am, clearly that within itself proves that what I'm doing most likely is not a fucked up thing. Because if it really was fucked up for what it was, you wouldn't have to turn it into something worse. And that's what this guy is doing. He's making it seem like all his videos are a scam. You shouldn't watch it because he's annoyed and upset that he had the wrong perception of this guy. So now that he's like, oh, I thought he was so innocent, now he's going on the other form of the bias and being like, he's completely guilty. And I don't care if you want to say, no, I wasn't. That's what you've done so far. I haven't cut out any of the things that you've said. I started the video at 1 minute and 11 seconds because you just repeated the same thing 3 times and you took a whole minute to start your intro. So yeah, I fast forwarded it because I didn't need to put that in my video. But the link will be in the description if people really want to hear you make some shitty jokes about you being depressed or whatever.
Why everyone hates David Dobrik? Who hates David Dobrik? He's an angel.
I don't even know who he is, and you're not showing me any context. So why are you giving that example? You keep saying that he has no, like, examples or context or evidence, and you're not showing anything, you fucking idiot.
Marcia is having an existential crisis.
Let me keep looking at thumbnails. Look at this thumbnail. She's having an existential crisis. It's like, okay, but what if she is? Where's the, like, show me what you're talking about. And I watched this video too. I literally started watching this. I'm going to finish it after I'm done making this video. Like, I cut it off halfway. I'm going to go back to it after because at this point, like, I can see that he's exaggerating everything. The guy wasn't like, oh my god, she's crazy. Like, I just don't understand, like, why people have to do this. Like, just show the clips that you're talking about if it really was the case. But no, and then the only clips he shows are the videos where he is doing it, but they're, like, the more extreme ones. People fuck up. People do fuck up. So if you're gonna say people are just constantly fucking up, and then you only show the few cases where they fuck up, then you just lied. They're not constantly fucking up. And that's what he's doing.
Why Shane Dawson needs therapy. Just a few examples. He has over 500 videos just like these about every YouTuber you can think of. And these videos aren't like a one-off and done. He has 65 videos on Shane Dawson, 45 videos on Jake Paul, 16 videos on Tana Mojo, 15 videos on Trisha Paytas. It goes on and on. At some point, it becomes kind of obsessive.
Okay, so, you know, for example, Mr. Repsion. He's done 100,000 videos on Onision, and there are plenty of other YouTubers who have too. They just keep fucking doing videos on that person, but just because you say it's obsessive, does that mean that it's actually bad? Okay? With me, everybody knows how I feel about pretty much every edgelord on YouTube. That doesn't mean that I'm going to make 100,000 videos about them, because that's just not me personally. But if you really can find different topics to talk about with these people, if you can do that, then fucking do it. Why not? What are you talking about? That's what I want to know. What are you talking about? Because if somebody can do 66 collabs with a person, how is that not obsessive, but doing 66 videos on someone is? You said it yourself. He does videos on every YouTuber. And then you're saying that he's done 11. This is not nearly as many videos as Onision, that Mr. Epsilon has done on Onision. You know, but again, Onision is a horrible fucking person, has done terrible fucking things, so it makes sense why YouTubers keep making videos on them. I want to know what the context is before I say you're being obsessive. Trisha Paytas is an internet troll, and she does a lot of controversial stuff. So if you're going to talk about controversial topics in psychology, it would make sense if you look at her, because she does a lot of different types of controversial things. She doesn't do the same shtick every video. So that would make sense. Shane Dawson also has a wide variety of the types of videos that he does, and he does documentaries. So if you wanted to make a bunch of videos on him, that would actually make sense. Same thing with Jake Paul. He's done a lot of controversial things, like a ton. So just, for example, with the news channel. News channels will do 1,000 videos on Hillary Clinton, 1,000 on Trump, 1,000 on, you know, this type of protest, that type of protest. It doesn't mean that they're obsessing over those politicians. They're talking about it because there are so many topics to discuss about these people. So, like, are you going to say that the news is obsessed with, like, current events with our electives? You know, if they're going to do a bunch of videos on Bernie Sanders, they're obsessed with Bernie Sanders? It just doesn't make sense. They're a news channel. Yes, over time, their videos will accumulate, and you can probably find, like, 200 videos on Hillary Clinton on the news, or Obama. You know, just one news station. So, yeah, he's not the news, but the point is, if the whole point of your format is to talk about people, then it would make sense that you talk about some people more than others. And it would make sense if these people cover a lot of topics, so you talk about them a lot. That makes sense.
Just imagine some random guy on the internet making 65 videos on how you need to get help in therapy.
But that's you again being black and white. He's making 65 videos on how you need to get help and get therapy. Okay, on what though? Like, and he's not even saying that with everything. Like with the Gabby show, doing the video on her, he didn't say she needs therapy. And even if he did, it would have made sense in that context. But his main point was stop avoiding negative things. It's not going to go away, so just address it. Boom. Solution right there. You don't even need to see a therapist for that. There's the answer. If you don't look at negative things that are coming your way, it's just going to get worse. And you're going to have to address it eventually. So it's fine. But he's like, nope, he just did 65 videos on the exact same topic. No different context whatsoever. Yep. I won't show you any examples of that, but that's what happened. Alright, whatever, I guess that's what we're supposed to be doing then.
Or about how your relationships are failing. He didn't even make a video on me. I'm kind of offended.
All the clips that he showed did not show anything about relationships failing except for the Trisha Paytas thing. He didn't show anything else. And he hasn't even shown any clips yet.
Out of all these people, I need therapy the most.
So this is like the second or third clip that this idiot has put in his video about, I have mental health problems. I don't know why the fuck he feels the need to keep talking about it. It could be a form of manipulation. It's funny because he actually talks about manipulation later in the video. But constantly telling people, I have depression, I have depression, I have anxiety and depression, I have depression. I have it worse than these people. I need it more than anyone else. It's making yourself seem like you're more of a victim and they're more of a criminal. Because whenever he talks about himself, it's in this like, I'm so sorry, I'm just this horrible, like, distraught person, I can't help it, I have these problems. But with this other guy's like, nope, he knows what he's doing, he's a stone cold killer. Like, it's like the difference is so, you're just painting yourself as like this innocent person, and then you're only going to mention like once or twice at the end after you've already primed everyone and groomed them into believing that you are more innocent. Then you'll call yourself an asshole. After you've set the stage and pointed out who the black and white villain is and who the black and white hero is, then at the end you're going to say you're a piece of shit. That's when you'll fucking say it, after everybody already has their opinion of you. Fuck you.
So you may be wondering, actually, you're probably not wondering at all, but I'm going to force this thought anyways. Being that him and his channel is based around mental health, diagnosing people on the internet, and recommending treatments, you would think that Chris has some sort of license or credentials in the mental health field that makes him qualified to talk about these things.
Because again, like, unless you have a license, you can't talk about other people's problems. Even though people with licenses also suck at talking about people's problems.
But, surprise, surprise, Chris's only credentials are that he's an ex-drug addict, he got clean, and he ended up working as a counselor for a few years. Also, he says he reads a lot of books, if that makes it better. So to put this whole thing into perspective, this guy who has no license, no schooling, no anything, is on the internet making videos diagnosing people he's never met and telling them they need to get help.
So, but again, most of the clips that he showed, because I watched quite a few of those videos, he didn't diagnose those people. He didn't diagnose Lily Singh. He didn't diagnose Gabby. He didn't diagnose Marcia. He said that they're showing examples of these issues that people deal with in everyday life. It's not even a big deal. It's not like he's saying, Lily Singh is a pedophile. No, he's saying, if you're claiming that you personally have mental health problems, then make sure that on your break you actually spend most of your time taking care about it. Honestly, work on it. Use this break to its fullest potential rather than trying to avoid it and have fun or something for the most part, and then maybe go on to like one therapist session or two. Like, do something with it. That's all he said. That's not a diagnosis. She's the one who said that she had mental health issues. Same thing with the Gabby show. He's saying, don't avoid your problems. That's not a diagnosis saying that you're a psychopathic narcissist. Like, he didn't say any of that. He's just like, hey, like, if you're going to avoid your problems, like, it's not going to work out for you, you know. It's always going to get worse. And he's showing the example for people who do this all the time. That's it. Like, same thing with Marcia. She wants to leave YouTube or whatever. So he's just talking about an existential crisis is not there aren't pills for having an existential crisis. And if they are, they won't help anybody. Like, you having an existential crisis means that you are regretting your life decisions, or you feel like your life has no meaning or something, or like you've been wasting your time, or you need to do something new, you're tired of the monotony, that's something that pills can't fix, because all those things can be true for the most part. Like, you actually could have wasted your life. Oh my god, these fucking bees, I'm so tired of them. I hope this doesn't get in the house. But yeah, like, it's just, that's not a diagnosis. So again, he's just painting all over it black and white and acting like it's something when it's not.
The best comparison I could think of is if your doctor's secretary made a YouTube channel and started telling a bunch of YouTubers they have like skin cancer or some other disease.
Even though that's not a proper analogy, because you're taking the biggest extremes when he didn't even do those fucking things in the first place, man. Like, what the fuck? Oh, by the way, I just said man. Remember that I just said man. I just thought about something. You'll see what I mean. Apparently, I'm manipulative for saying man. So yeah, keep that in mind. Even though it just came out of my mouth.
I mean, yeah, the secretary works in a doctor's office, and they probably know more about being a doctor than the average Bob, but at the end of the day, you're still a secretary, not a doctor, and you can't diagnose people. Especially people you've never met. And then, when people start...
If somebody has a clear sign of skin cancer on their fucking face, like, it's clear, and whatever the fuck the signs are, and you point it out, that's a legitimate criticism, just be like, hey, maybe you should get that checked out. I think you might have skin cancer. That's what people did with Eugenia Cooney. Everybody's like, I'm pretty sure she's anorexic. I don't think that she has some sort of natural skinny thing going on. And she was anorexic because the signs were obvious, and people made predictions about it. They're like, you know, because people kept saying she didn't lose weight in her face. Everybody's like, that's the last place she's going to lose weight. But she will lose weight in her face. And when she started losing weight in her face, that's when she went and got help. So, yeah, like, you can look at someone in a YouTube video and make a certain criticism. You don't have to be a professional to know certain things. It'd be different if it's, like, some sort of, like, you might have, like, colon cancer or something. Yeah, that's gonna be kind of fucking hard to find out through a screen of a YouTube video from the shoulders up, even at that. Yeah, you probably won't be able to tell them. But, you know, if somebody clearly can't see what's right in front of them in a video, they call it something that it's not. Like a yellow baseball glove, and they think it's a sack of bananas or something. You'd be like, I think you should get your eyes checked. That's perfectly fine if you say that. So you can be a doctor's secretary and still fucking say that. Do doctors even have secretaries? Like, what? Did he say secretary?
saying, hey, can't diagnose the average... I mean, yeah, the secretary works in a doctor's office, and they probably know more about being a doctor than the average Bob, but at the...
The secretary works in the doctor's office. I don't know, maybe... It depends on what kind of doctor, I guess.
End of the day, anyone, the secretary will say, don't worry, I had cancer 5 years ago. I know that pimple on your lip is herpes. Trust me. I took 3 classes.
And now he's just like, let me be funny. I'm talking about cancer. I know it's herpes. Get it? I called it herpes when I was supposed to be calling it cancer. I really don't know what I'm talking about. I'm still wacky. Blah, blah. I just hate YouTube humor, man. Like, it makes me want to fucking kill myself.
Classes of psychology. So schooling wise, I'm more qualified to... I took 3 classes of psychology. So schooling wise, I'm more qualified to diagnose mental health than Chris is.
You don't know what classes he took, though. And you taking classes doesn't mean that you're more qualified. He could actually know more than you fucking moron. You don't understand how psychology works.
And trust me, I'm nowhere near qualified in the slightest.
Yeah.
But I do remember every part of the brain and their function.
Who gives
Thank
a
you,
fuck?
Mrs. Brooks. So after
You're not
making 30
welcome.
videos on someone talking about their personal life and how they need to fix it, that person is most likely going to see one of those videos and respond to it. And that's actually what happened with Trisha Paytas and Bobby Burns.
There's one channel, and I was gonna love them.
So, like I said, now he shows clips where, you know, looking at the exaggerative parts where the guy commenting on their personal lives. But again, when you look at YouTubers, a lot of them, over time, they get worse and worse. That's just with most YouTubers. And they take things too far. And they don't think through what they're doing. You know, they don't consider the other person. And they fuck up. So these 2 videos are examples of that. But that doesn't mean that everything he's done is this. And that's the problem. That's the fucking problem. You're making it seem like you're making it too unrealistic. This is not what's actually happening. He took it too far. That doesn't mean that his whole channel is based off of this, what you're about to see.
Talking about him again. This is the last time I'm talking about him because I can't. It pisses me off so much. Like, he does so many videos about me and Jason, in our relationship as if he's a relationship expert. It's like this is coming from a drug addict, once an addict, always an addict, that is it. Coming from a drug addict who has a child, who's no longer with that person. I don't know the thing, but it's like, you have a child, you're not married to that mom, you have another girlfriend that's, do you know what I'm saying? And he acts like his is so perfect, and like, just looking at him, you know, he does judgments just by looking at our videos, and just by looking at his videos, not his physical appearance, just like looking at his videos and looking at him, and it's like he looks tired, he looks worn down, like, he acts like he's such an expert, and it's honestly dangerous, and it's honestly unhealthy to tell people to like, and he always says, I'm not trying to diagnose, and I'm not saying this, but it's like, you're saying it, like, just because you put it.
Okay, I want to know, like, what he said, because again, this is taking everything out of context. Like, what if the criticism he made about her was legitimate? Like, what if she was Onision? Honestly, pretend that she was Onision, okay? This is how everybody will understand, because most people, one brain cell understands how fucked up Onision is. Pretend that he's eating a sandwich or a burger or whatever the fuck is in her hands, and it's just like, well, how are you going to say this about me? How are you going to say I abused the women I've dated? And I locked them in a basement. Because you did. That's why I said it. Yeah, you should go get help, because you are showing symptoms of psychopathic behavior. You might fucking be a psychopath, and that's very concerning. And everybody will look at it like, okay, yeah, like, he's not a psychologist, but I mean, Onision kind of does do that. I mean, I think it's okay for him to say that. So, doing this isn't necessarily wrong. It depends on the situation. And if he was wrong in this situation, yes, that's a problem, and he needs to use more thought before doing these things, but anybody's going to get offended when you call out their shit. So just because he called out their shit and they responded and said, I did not appreciate you calling out my shit, doesn't mean that the shit is illegitimate. You need to present more context. This is clearly a very complicated issue. You're not presenting all of the evidence. You're just presenting the ones that make your argument look good. So you're slimy for that, and fuck you again.
Disclaimer, just because you say, like, not trying.
You know what the fuck she said. I'm moving forward.
Drama channels picked it up, and I decided to leave a comment on one of them because the drama just sucks me in sometimes. I'm sorry, guys. My throat gets a little dry.
This video right now is a drama video. It's not that it sucks you in sometimes. You make drama videos. End of story. Everybody's always so ashamed. Understand what he just said. Sometimes the drama sucks me in. People are so ashamed to comment on drama, and it honestly pisses me off that people even call controversy drama in this way. Because they're like, oh, the drama. As if people's personal problems are not a serious thing. It's just like a nuisance in the world. I swear to God, I hate people.
Every once in a while, and I just need to sip some tea. Alright, is that a crime? My problem with the Rewired Soul
Apparently
is that he
to
preaches
you, yes.
mental wellness and people's well-being, yet he is making tons of videos almost attacking these people in the name of bringing awareness to mental health. Putting these people's relationships and behavior on blast and giving his untrained, non-taught opinion on how people in his audience should fix their problems is kinda questionable in my eyes.
Okay, people who've done videos on him, like how he posted all his thumbnails of people doing videos on him, are doing the same thing. They're looking at his behavior and putting his behavior on blast. Everybody does it. That's what you're supposed to do. If you think that someone has toxic behavior, you should be talking about it. If your criticisms are wrong, then people should point out why you're wrong, and you need to fix your perspective. But that does not mean that you should no longer talk about controversial issues. It's the same thing that I said with the fucking, the video Vigilante, I think is his name, the video Vigilante. He did a video on Ethan telling him, no one came to watch your videos to hear your opinion. They wanted to see you be a retard. So you shouldn't discuss your thoughts on people anymore. Just stay silent, because you're too stupid to talk about anything. And that's a horrible fucking thing to say. And he meant it. This isn't like, oh, you're so stupid, like, shut up. No, like, he actually meant, if you're too stupid to talk about things, don't talk about them. And it's like, no, how are we supposed to grow as people if we don't discuss controversial issues and get criticism on what we have to say about people's problems? If you don't want people to critique your personal life, don't be a YouTuber. It's the same thing like with politicians. If you don't want people to critique your personal life, don't be a politician. You're a public figure now. End of story. If you're a public figure, your personal life is no longer your personal life. If you can film in your bedroom, people can comment on your bedroom and what goes on in it. So it's just so stupid to me that people are like, oh my god, you're putting my personal business out for the open. If people do that to me, I'm never going to tell people, how dare you bring my personal life? Doesn't that sound slimy when you tell people, you're talking about my personal life and you're putting it out there and I'm a public figure? Like, if there's really nothing wrong in your life, wouldn't you not say that? You wouldn't say, oh, you're putting my you'd say you're, exaggerating the situation. You're taking me out of context. You're doing a smear job on me. You would say those type of things. You wouldn't just say you're taking my personal problems and making them public if there were no problems. You would accuse them of lying about your problems and creating problems where there are none. That's the difference. So yeah, people can talk about your personal fucking life if you're a public figure, and I'm tired of dumbasses like this saying, that's a problem. How could you ever do that even though I do the same thing?
Harassing someone is the opposite of promoting mental well-being. And shockingly, well, is that I don't know if it's shockingly.
What is harassment though? If you make some videos on someone's personal life? Like, again, if he's proven to be wrong and people address that with him and then hear what he has to say in response, like, it could turn into harassment. But if he's doing different topics when he's covering her, is that really harassment? Because she is an internet troll. So is she not harassing the internet? In that sense, she's purposefully getting under people's skin. She does it all the time. But that's not a form of harassment. But commenting on her behavior is. Shut the fuck up.
But I'm so dumb. The Rewired Soul replies, Primink. Sorry. That bums me out coming from you, Primink. I've seen some of your videos, and it seems like many of them are trying to bring light to a situation in order to raise awareness and help others. So in your opinion, the better option would be for millions of people to passively watch unhealthy behaviors and believe they are normal. For people to watch toxic behaviors, relate to it, and not get help? I learned a lot more about you from this post, and that's too bad, man. While some people choose to consume content and pretend that life is alright, others want to learn from it and see if it's possible to improve their own lives. I learned a lot more about you from this post. That's too bad, man. What? Boy.
Hey, so I'm like, I think an hour into editing this video. It doesn't look like it because it says 23 minutes here, but I have to like render it in pieces or else it slows down so bad that like, oh, I'm not even going to get into it. So, I usually add in text when I forget to say something or I want to add an extra point or something, which is what I did here. But this part seems so important that I'm actually going to say it because not everyone reads the text that I add in a video, so when it's really important, I want to insert it. But it's really important that you pay attention to the response that the Rewired Soul gave. Because he honestly picks Primink apart. So he says, that bums me out coming from you. I've seen some of your videos, and it seems like many of them are trying to bring light to a situation in order to raise awareness and help others. That is the nicest description you can give edgelord content, because what edgelords do is that they point out when other people are fucking up, but they're also optimistic nihilists, so they're just like, oh, everyone's assholes, everybody's shit. Morals don't exist, all this other dumb stuff. Why are you talking about people fucking up if you don't believe in morals? You know, so it's just so stupid. With that given information, because that's how edgelords operate. That's the whole point of being an edgelord, is to be edgy. You know, fuck morals. He says, so in your opinion, the better option would be for millions of people to passively watch unhealthy behaviors and believe they're normal? That's a legitimate question. Like, do you really believe that that's okay? To see people functioning in a fucked up way and to say nothing? Or should they say something about it? And he says for people to watch toxic behaviors, relate to it, and not get help. Because understand that there's a lot of people who look at these influencers and they're like, oh, I act just like them. Again, I've been around sociopaths my whole life. And one of the worst ones I've ever known have bragged about having friends who are sociopaths. And they're like, it's not that bad. They're not actually that bad. And it's like, yeah, they are. Do you not know what a sociopath is? You are one, but you're trying to enable your horrible, abusive fucking behavior by saying that it's not that bad because you can be friends with them and you're okay with them. So you just put yourself in an echo chamber of enablers. Like, fuck that. So, yeah, like, he's posing a legitimate question saying, Is it really okay for people to just watch toxic behavior and say nothing? Pretend like everything's okay? So then he says, I learned a lot more about you from this post, and that's too bad, man. And he's saying, I'm pretty sure he's saying man the way that I say man, because I say like, what, 2 or 3 times in this video? When I say man, I just learned this about myself. I say it in like a pitiful way, like, oh man. Alright, man, whatever you say. Like, that's how I say it. It's not like, hey, man, hey, bro, I'm going to manipulate you now. I'm gonna put my manipulating lasers into your brain. Like, I don't know what the fuck he's accusing him of. It doesn't make sense. How is a man manipulative? Explain. So then he says, while some people choose to consume content and pretend that life is alright, others want to learn from it and see if it's possible to improve their own lives. And it's true. A lot of people want to watch stuff. Dude, there's a fucking song that some animation channel and Boy in the Band, like, collaborated on. It's a song about an optimist and a pessimist. An optimist is like, we are young, life is fun, we gotta make the most of it. And while he's saying that, the pessimist is like, we're not young for long. Life isn't fun for everyone. You know, but at the end of the video, the pessimist is like, oh, I'm just saying that there's negative things. I'm not saying we need to say anything about it or do anything about it or give our opinion. No, I'm just saying they exist. So they're both actually optimists, and they're optimistic nihilists, and they're like, yeah, life sucks, but whatever, make the most of it. And it's like, the problem with this behavior is that it's so selfish and heartless, and it's killing our planet. Because of this selfishness, that's why the planet is dying. That's why I don't like optimism, because it is enabling. And yes, this guy, the Rewired Soul, does believe in, like, addressing toxic issues, but optimism is still bad. So, just to finish this off, what is his response to this? He just picked him apart perfectly. This is exactly who Primink is, okay? He does believe exactly what this said, and if you don't understand it, please reread it. But his response to it is to just change the subject. He doesn't address it.
Improve their own lives. I learned a lot more about you from this post. That's too bad, man.
So he focuses on saying man, and then he's like, you're manipulating me, you're manipulating me. You're gonna see it in the rest of this video. He just says you're manipulating me, and he just moves on to the next thing. He does not address any of the other stuff, because that's exactly who he is, and he doesn't want you to call him out on it. So that's all I have to say with that, and it's fucking disgusting. I genuinely hate edgelords with a burning passion. Fuck every single one of them.
That bums me out coming from you, Primink. I've seen some of your videos, and it seems like many of them are trying to bring light to a situation in order to raise awareness and help others. So in your opinion, the better option would be for millions of people to passively watch unhealthy behaviors and believe they are normal. For people to watch toxic behaviors, relate to it, and not get help? I learned a lot more about you from this post, and that's too bad, man. While some people choose to consume content and pretend that life is alright, others want to learn from it and see if it's possible to improve their own lives. I learned a lot more about you from this post. That's too bad, man. What? Boy, no, come on. He says he reads a lot of books, right? He must have read a book on manipulation.
He just said, boy, come on. Are you being manipulative by saying, oh, boy, come on? You just said boy. You saying man doesn't necessarily mean you're being manipulative, and if he is being manipulative, can you give me some fucking context? Like, how many times have I said that in the past 9 minutes of this video? Show me an excerpt from the fucking book or something talking about how saying man at the end of the sentence is going to manipulate you, and say how. Like with me, how I mentioned before, it's perfectly reasonable to have a YouTuber's face and your own face on a video and not be a drama video. And he himself admitted that in the beginning. I gave context. I played the clip where he admitted it. So that's how I contradicted him saying he's a drama channel, because he does that. No, he's not. He has some drama videos. Some of them aren't. It depends on the fucking video. So yeah, like, can you give me some fucking context? No? Of course not.
I'm telling you. So as most people know,
That's just priming. Again, it's priming. He's priming everyone to think that all his videos are drama. He's priming everyone to think that he's a pretend therapist when he's never said that he was. And if he did, show the clip. Show the clip, because you're clearly having a hard time finding it, or you would have put it in there already. You know, he's priming people to believe that he's read books on manipulation. That's a baseless accusation. I'm pretty sure he did. Didn't you just fucking sit there and say, oh, how are you going to say that this guy's a drug addict just because he went to some parties? Oh, so if you go to parties, you're doing drugs. But now you're saying if you say man, you're a manipulator. You read manipulation books. You're doing the same fucking thing and he doesn't even realize it. This is the shit that pisses me off. You're doing the same fucking thing. And his dumbass won't think it's the same. It is the exact same. You're making baseless accusations. And you're priming your audience to believe something that isn't fucking true. It's not objective. It's not realistic. You're painting this video in black and white when it's not. There are so many nuances in this video that you are not focusing on. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So you can't tell somebody else to shut the fuck up because they don't know what they're talking about when you don't. And your dumbass even said, I've actually taken some psychological classes. And you don't see how fucking retarded you're being talking about manipulation books. You took psychological classes and you say something that's stupid. So yeah, you're the last person to talk about somebody talking about psychology when you're doing the same fucking thing.
I'm toxic. I don't pretend to like people.
And I told you, oh my god, I fucking told you he was gonna do it. Look at the timestamp. We're past the half point, okay? So understand that for the past 9 minutes, he's made about 3 jokes talking about him being depressed. Remember? I have depression. I have anxiety. Like he's like lighthearted and all this other stuff. That's priming you to believe that he is something that he's not. And now, for the last third of the video, now that you've already gotten this opinion of him, now he's going to start admitting what kind of fuckhead he is. Now he's going to do it because this way it doesn't feel as bad. It's not as bad because you already have your opinion of him, so this bias is going to take over for the rest of the fucking video. And then he also primes you to believe the other guy is just this like horrible maniacal villain in a comparison, which makes him look even more innocent. So now when he says, I'm a shithead, I'm a piece of shit, it means nothing. It means nothing because people are just going to look at it subconsciously like, oh, you say you're a piece of shit, but you're actually a really decent person. That's how they're going to look at it because you prime them. So maybe you're reading manipulation books because you've shown examples of priming throughout this video. You didn't show me any fucking examples of half the shit you accused him of. You didn't play any clips. You didn't show anything. I fucking paused and said, listen to this. There's no context here. That's manipulation. That's me showing context. You did not do that. So yeah, it's more likely that you're reading manipulation books. And even if you aren't, you are using manipulation tactics on people. And people do that a lot. You don't have to read a manipulation book to prime somebody. People do it naturally. It's just we call it priming so people can understand the behavior. Because humans work in behavioral patterns. Priming someone is a behavioral pattern. And it's a tactic, okay, that we developed and then wrote books on. So if you didn't read a book, you're still fucking doing it. And if anybody's reading a book, it's you.
Manipulation too, I'm telling you. So
Listen to
most
him.
people know I'm toxic. I don't pretend to like people I don't like. And I speak my...
Oh, that's the third or fourth joke that I want to die is on his shirt. I'm depressed, I want to die. And now he's like, I'm toxic, I don't pretend like I'm not. Oh no, I'd never do that.
Telling you. So as most people know, I'm toxic. I don't pretend to like people I don't like. And I speak my mind, even if it gets me in trouble quite often. So I responded in my...
And now, so he gives you that, and again, that's also priming you. I need to look up the term. I am going to look it up. I'll insert it in the video when I'm editing right here, and you can read it. But there's a tactic that people use, and a lot of edgelords do this shit, and he's an edgelord. But the tactic that he's using right now is calling out his own bullshit before you can. That's what these people do. They want to call out their own problems first. So like when you see an edgelord do a face reveal and they're ugly and they look like shit, the first thing they do is they're like, I look so ugly. I look so ugly. Look at how ugly I look. Now you can't call me ugly. And I will continue to make fun of other people because even if you call me ugly, I already called myself ugly. Like they do that stupid shit. Or they just say, I'm an asshole, I'm a cunt, I'm a piece of shit, I'm an immoral person, I'm a savage. I believe in very fucked up things. Yeah, I'll be the first one to admit it. You're doing that so that you won't take criticism. That's literally a tactic in psychology, and pretty much every edgelord does it. So you're not going to tell me that that's not what you're doing, because you've already shown examples of priming and grooming people throughout this entire fucking video. And then you say all of this, because remember his last response that he put up was pretty decent. It was very cordial. He spoke in a very cordial way. This one is not as cordial. He knows that he sounded like an asshole in this one. So that's why he's going to say, I'm an asshole, just so you know I'm an asshole, okay? I'm about to read this thing that sounds fucked up, but I am an asshole. I'll admit it. I'll be the first one to admit it. Now you can read it and not be as mad at what I have to say. Got it? Okay.
In my opinion, some random untrained guys should not be telling people that they need therapy or that they are in toxic relationships and need to get out. In Trisha's video, you can see she is distressed. Rather, she is right or wrong.
How is she distressed? She's eating a fucking sandwich. She's sitting in a video and talking very calmly. And you know that that's a form of manipulation too. Like when people are upset about a video, they play the victim, so they make their hair all messy. They have like the tired eyes. They put on a t-shirt. They're eating or, you know, drinking something, got like cocoa in their hands, sitting in the corner petting a cat. You know, didn't she do a fucking troll video where she was like crying, sitting on the floor, like, bleh, bleh, bleh. Like she did that shit and everybody was like, oh, she's trolling. And even if she wasn't, she was being over dramatic for what the video was. Like somebody was calling her out for something. And she did it there, like, or with the Tati video and what's the guy who does the Bye Sister? James, right? His name's James, isn't it? If I'm wrong, then correct me. But yeah, Tati versus James. When he did his response, he initially looked all tired and he's like, I just want to say these things. And everybody was like, that's slimy. So yeah, like, why would you say? She clearly looks distressed. If it's that clear, don't you think that she knows she looks like that? If it's really that clear, don't you think she knows that she looks that way and she did that on purpose? So again, you're not being objective at all. It's not black and white. You're making it seem like she's just a victim. She's done nothing wrong. And he's just a villain. He's done nothing right. And you're an asshole for it.